Star Trek Prodigy episode 13 dropped today on Paramount Plus. Let's talk about it. I reviewed all 13 episodes, all 12 of the episodes previous to this. So if you want to go back and know my thoughts on the show, there you go. I really like this episode. It's probably one of my least favorites, though. And that is just because I don't know. This felt like an episode of the original Star Trek show, which I enjoy. I've actually been rewatching it as I've been watching Star Trek Prodigy and some of these other Star Trek shows. So that's been fun. But it felt like one of the weaker ones where just, there's some good writing and some good moments, but just the concept of the episode, while an interesting enough sci fi concept, isn't as interesting as I think the writers thought it was. And that's basically what I thought with this episode. This episode follows our crew who, following the distress call from the previous episode's cliffhanger, are now on this planet where all these dudes think they're Starfleet and there's a disease going around. And it's like, they help them and then they help them by the end of the episode, sort of thing. The disease doesn't really feel that dramatic or interesting. It's just very like, okay, it's just kind of there. These dudes put on a play or doing a Starfleet thing. I don't know. I feel like I've seen concepts like this both in the original series and in the Next Generation, and neither times it's been particularly interesting. And I didn't really care for it. It's just like I've seen characters who worship Starfleet, and the other characters like, huh? I've seen it in even in the Orville. They have episodes like this. It's very weird. Um, but yeah, it's just like a Star Trek thing. It's kind of a trope at this point. Uh, and I like the idea of they're trying to get to Starfleet without the Protostar, and then by the end of this, we see Merb, who's been sick for multiple episodes, put herself in or it. I don't really know the gender of Merb, into a what do you call that? A cocoon. Cocoon. Yeah, that's it. Just trying to think of the word. But yeah, I mean that's interesting. Just I don't know. A lot of these previous episodes for the season have really given us massive cliffhangers where you'd be like, oh shit, I can't wait for the next one. Even like yesterday before I watched this episode, I was almost contemplating staying up super late so I could watch this the moment it came out. I decided not to do that because I have to work and sleep is important. Dear God, but but when I actually watched the episode compared to what I was excited to see, it was kind of different. And so I don't know. It's a decent episode, just probably one of the worst of the show so far.